Hey everyone, this is Prince from Desi Programmer. Welcome back to another exciting video. And in this video, we are going to code a backend server using Dart. I'm not going to use any framework because none of them are maintained or reliable enough to push an app in production. I mean, you can say Aqueduct, but that isn't very stable and also hasn't been maintained well in past few months. The last commit ever made was around 6 months ago. And other frameworks like Angel, Self, HTTP Server, Redstone, RPC have tons of problems of their own. But since all of you have been asking so much, I will try to code a server side API. But before we do that, let me see if I can find my intro to play that. Now, before we move forward, let's discuss an important question, which is should you even consider Dart as a server side language? And for those interested only in the coding part, you can look at the timestamp. Well, if you try to use the bare basic HTTP server provided by any language, then coding a backend will be a really great undertaking. And I'm not saying that you can't do it, it's just that it's not an optimized solution. I mean, I've been looking at some blog posts and they explain how Dart is as good as Node.js and how Dart's VM is good, but my go to response to that is just as Sheldon Cooper, in a world that already has Node.js, why would I settle for something like it? Anyway, it's an ever changing modern tech world, so it's inappropriate to say that Dart will never be a good option for server side programming. I mean, one good framework and a full fledged tutorial on it by some decent YouTubers like me will obviously make this a perfect contender. But till then, let's take a look at this coding. So I will first launch everything I need like VS Code, Terminal and Insomnia for API testing. I have used and loved Postman, but these days I'm trying to be friends with Insomnia because of its clean and crystal interface. Now I have to create a Dart project and there's no command line like npm init to do so. All that you have to do is to create a directory and then in that directory create a pubspec.yaml file and enter the following data there, which is name, version, description, dependencies and dev dependencies. Once you have done this, your project is up and running. You can save the file, and if you run pub-get or if you simply get a prompt that says to get packages, you will see that now you have a directory named dot underscore tool. You will have a packages list and a pubspec.yol dot lock. Anyway, I'll go to my main.dart file and here I have to code my server. Now to code my server, right now all that I need is IO. So I will say import dart colon IO. This will give me the Dart IO package. So I'll have my main function and this is going to be asynchronous. And in my main function, I have to create my server. So I'm saying var server, which is my server, is equal to await http server dot bind. Then I have to bind my server to an address. As you can see, we have to give a dynamic address and a port. So my address will be, okay, if I try to do something like 127.0.0.1, and then if I set my port as 3000, right, let's see now. All that I have to say is to, let's say I just want to print that server is running. So we will have server started at, and this server will give me address and port. So I'm saying dollar server dot address and colon dollar server dot port. So once you have done that, I'll simply save this. If I go back to my terminal, and all that I have to do is to use Dart to run this main.dart file, and now you will see that we get a server started at internet address 127.0.1 colon 3000. This I really think is not going to work because if I go to Insomnia, let's say that now I'm creating a request. Let's make it home route. In my home route, my obviously what I'm trying to look at is http colon double slash localhost, let's say 127. I click on send, then yep, we can't connect to this server, although we have actually created a server at this particular port at localhost. Okay, I'm not getting any response here because actually I'm not listening to any route. I'm not sending any data back. So I have to say server dot listen. Then I have to listen for HTTP request. So we take a callback function, which is HTTP request. I'll name this as request itself. And now here we can listen to request. So let's simply say I want to print the request. So we have request dot if I say URI, you will get the requested URI. And here I'm simply saying that whatever it is, let's return something from it. Okay. So to return, all that I have to do is to say request dot response dot write, and I want to write some data. So let's simply write hi. This is a simple string. This is in JSON, and then I'm saying request dot response dot close. Great. Let's save this. Let's start our server back again. And now if I go back to Insomnia, if I send this, you will get this hi, which is simple text. And you can see the header, the content type is plain text. Now to make sure that this looks beautiful, all that I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a list of tasks, and we'll send that as JSON. So okay, let me just write this quickly. Okay, so as you can see, I have this simple list of tasks, right? This is simple task data. And what I want to do is that I want to send this data as JSON from whenever we have a request. So for that, as you can see, this is task data. I have to obviously first encode it in JSON, and then I have to send this. So for encoding, I will need convert library. So I will say import dart colon convert. And now here, whenever we have a request, as you can see, I printed request.uri. I got this slash, which means we are getting request at slash URI. And here I'm saying I have to first encode. So let's say some var t or encoded is equal to JSON encode, and I have to encode this list, which is task data. And once this is encoded, instead of I have to write this entire encoded data. So I'm saying encoded, but you may also want to change the header, sorry, the content type. So for that, I have to do request dot response dot, and here I have to change the content type. So headers dot, I think we will get content type is equal to not length, want type, and this type will now be a new content type. And here we have to put the primary type and the subtype and then the character set. So my primary type is application and the subtype is JSON. Come on. And then our char set here is actually UTF-8. So UTF-8. And I think we are good to go. Once I have done this, I'll go back to my terminal. I'll restart the server because we don't have anything like nodemon for that to work automatically. If I click on send, now you can see that we have a content type of application slash JSON. And if I go to preview, you will see that now I have this entire data, which is the task data that we were getting. Let's talk about routing. So since this is a bare basic framework, we have to handle the routing on my own. So I can use a switch statement here. Okay, if I say switch case, so I have to switch request dot URI, I think. Yeah, because this will give me the request URI, and then I have to switch accordingly, right? So I'm saying if request dot URI, let's convert it to a string. So take this value, and if the case is slash, that means I have a request from home route. I call this as home route, although slash home will also be home route, but I call this just the slash as home route. Maybe I should be calling this initial route. Let's call initial route. And whenever this is called, let's say that we have router. So I'm saying home router, and this router takes this request, and then we are going to handle everything on that particular home router. So I have to code that home router too, obviously, and this is the function. In the same type, in the same way, if we have another request at, so whenever you make a request to slash small a add and capital T add task, it's camel case, then we will call this add task route, right? So now that we have this home router, all that I have to do is that I have to take this entire code, then I have to paste it right here, and we are good to go. So if I close and restart the server, if I go back to Insomnia, which is this, if I send again, then we are good to go. Now I have to go here and I have to send something at add task 2. So if I just copy this everything, okay, and let's simply put this, let's remove this. I want to encode some data which has a message, and the message is add task called. If I save this, if I restart the server again, we go back to Insomnia and let's create another request. If I click on send, then now we get this simple message that says add task called. Now, up until here, you might be saying that, yeah, this looks pretty good, right? But let me tell you one thing. Now, when we have to actually handle parsing the body data or parsing the data that we get from our query string and all, that's the part which is tough, because if someone is uploading a file and you want to handle that from this bare basic code that you get, it's actually going to be very tough. And let me show you how tough it can get. Just if we want to put something uh, in this single list and we have to retrieve that from query string. Okay, so all that I'm going to do is that I'm going to put send some requests from this add task with query. So our query will be task, and here I can say I am a task, and now this is the entire URL that we are going to send. If I click on send, we get nothing because this URL isn't recognized. Right here, when you use switch case statements, this looks for this single string. Okay, it has to be this string at all, not starts with and all. So this isn't going to work. So for that, all that I have to do is that I have to go to default, and in default, so basically if there is no match in default, I'm saying that if the request dot URI dot to string, so if this is string dot starts with, if this is starts with slash add task, and I don't care what is after this add task, if this just starts with this, that means I have to call my router, and my router is add task, and this add task will take this request, and I have to say break. Okay, great. Now let's go here, let's close and start again. We have the server up and running, but still if I go back to Insomnia, I click on send, I will simply get this message. I still have to parse the data. Now here, as you can see, we are getting this data, right? And this is a URL string, so I have to first parse the URL string and then I will get the data from it. So for that, I have to use URI in my add task. Let's remove this because I don't need it. Actually I need it. Let's keep it here so that we don't get an issue. Control plus Z. Now to parse the query string, thanks to Dart, we already have a package for that. So I can say var URI is equal to capital URI, and I'm going to use URI dot parse, and this will help me with parsing. And I have to parse request dot URI, and once this is parsed, we will get our data. So if I print URI dot query parameters, and here if I give my key which is task, then I should get the value that I'm sending as task. And after that's done, okay, I'm going to encode a value which is this value. So let me just copy this, paste it here. So basically whatever task we are getting, I'm going to send it back. So now if I go here, if I close and restart the server, if I go back to Insomnia, I still have this simple task which says I am a task. Let's click on send. Here in the task, I get I am a task, and you can see on the console I'm printing I am a task. Now this too might appeal like, hey, I can use this ain't something very tough to use, but the problem is we're not doing a lot of exception handling here, so this isn't something good for production. Because if someone is trying to target your server, like obviously you're not picking any other key value, but if you're having a giant query string, then this is not how you will want to handle it and all. And if you want to basically add this to, let's say, this task data, all that we have to do here is, after retrieving this value, okay, first of all I'm saying that now I have some data, okay, and this data is a single map completed. Now completed obviously is false by default, and this task will come from this particular value. Okay, so I'm saying copy this, paste it here, and I don't want this value right here. Okay, I want to say that grab the data, okay, put it in the task, put it in this data map, then call the task list. Come on, not SQL transaction call back. I want task data dot add add this particular data, and then redirect. So, okay, I don't want to rest.response.write. Actually want this to redirect me to ARM home route. Now even to redirect, I don't want close because redirect itself closes the connection. So I have to say something like request.response dot redirect. Okay. And here I have to pass a, come on, what do I have to pass in redirect? I have to pass a URI, that's a location. Post this to YouTube. If I click on send, then now I have this entire list of tasks. If I go back to home route, if I click on send, then obviously I have this entire task. Looks pretty good, but actually I'm not going to spend any more time. And the reason why I won't do so is because even if I use the package which is Mongo Dart, that to package 2 is very unstable. So even if I connect to a database, it doesn't work very well with data insertion or data retrieval. I have already faced that issue a lot, so I'm not going to do that here once again. But yeah, in simple terms, although Dart could be very powerful or very useful in terms of Flutter, but I still don't think that coding a web server or a API using Dart is very fruitful at this moment. You can obviously use other languages which already have a lot of support, a lot of question, and better frameworks which have been in the market since years and is actually being used in production to write your code and deploy it on any server. And once you actually have something promising in Dart, we can switch back to that. And if you're still interested in writing this everything on your own, you're good to go. So yep, that's pretty much it from my side in this video, this very short video. We'll actually talk more about coding better things in Dart, maybe a console application or a desktop application which could be cross-platform using Flutter. That's actually better than coding Dart on web server. So we will experiment with those things next weekend. Till then, keep coding, keep loving, keep saving, and peace.